Stephen, onwards to Livingston on the back of a good run of form, 3 wins in 4 games, and the boys going in with a bit of confidence.
Yeah, we are. We're well aware it's a tough game. I think they've only lost 2 games at their place all season, so tough place to go to. One, we have to produce a similar type of performance as Saturday and what we did against Dundee and St Mirren, and make sure we're well prepared for a fight.
Yeah, and what's the preparations been like for this one, going to a tricky place like you mentioned?
Well, I try and not give players excuses. I think if you give players excuses, they'll take them. It's just the nature of footballers. So we've trained in AstroTurf all week. We're well prepared. We won't be using the pitch as an excuse afterwards, win, lose or draw. We have to get on with it, and we know if we produce that level of performance that we have done in the 3 games we've mentioned, then we'll be okay.
Yeah, when I spoke to Liam Grimshaw, he said at any level, if you win 3 games in 4, you'll be delighted with it and go in with confidence. The boys seem to have those spirits in training this week.
Yeah, I think it's important that one result, the Rangers result, doesn't affect everybody's mindset, and you have to deal with adversity in football, and they have done. And there was a determination around the football club last week to come out fighting. We held our hands up. It was our fault, nobody else's, no referees, us, and we came out fighting, and I think it proved the character of the boys. And now we need to take that onwards and upwards into the next lot of games.
Yeah, speaking of dealing with adversity, you yourself having to deal with a lot of changes, injuries here and there. What's the sort of team news going into this one this weekend?
I'm waiting for the next crazy injury and situation. We've been extremely unlucky. During the season you get hamstring injuries and groin injuries and little strains, and sometimes you look, are you training too much or too little? But these injuries, Trevor's injury is just not someone you'd relate to football at all. The other injuries are Chris Cadden, Craig Tanner, both nobody near them. The patella tendons, very rare injuries, and Charles Dunn, an even rarer injury. So we've had things to deal with, but you have to deal with them, and people step in. Liam Grimshaw last week, playing in a position I think he can excel in, where he can open his legs and be aggressive in his attacking play as well. It gives other people opportunities, so we try and not use that as an excuses and try and keep building forward.
I guess you've ensured to recruit that way, haven't you? You've built a squad now that they're more than able to come in and step up when called upon.
Yeah, I keep saying to the players, when you get your chance, be ready for your chance. Instead of moaning and knocking on doors, be as fit as you can, be as ready as you can. I think Mark Gillespie is the perfect example of that. I think Liam Grimshaw's another very good example of that as well. When they've got their chances, they've got it and they've stayed in, and they will stay in and continue to do well. So it's up to the boys that can take their opportunities while others are injured. Everybody's, some people's misfortune is other people's opportunities. You
spoke about Trevor Carson there. How has he been? I saw he was in around the club this week, and how's he been feeling mentally?
It's a tough one because he looks great. And you don't realise the underlying issues with him. So he's been in and around the club. He's now our assistant chief scout. He doesn't realise that. He'll be going to watch games for me up in Ross County and Inverness, and Martin Foyle will be taking him under his wing. So no, we want to keep him involved. When you're injured, it's a long road sometimes. It's a lonely place, that treatment room. So we make sure we try and keep him involved in everything we do.
Yeah, and off the pitch, the club have obviously announced the profit that was made last season, and it's an example of not only the on-pitch performance but the player sales, and you must be pleased with that and the results it's benefited for the club.
Yeah, I think it's credit to everybody involved in it. We're a football club that have to sell players, simple as that. We've sold a player in every single window I've been here. As a manager, it's frustrating. You're building someone, then you lose your best player. But we know that, and we knew the parameters when I took the job, and it has to be done for the club to exist. We get 3,000 to 4,000 people at games, and that's kept us going. Player sales, a good run of form last season as well. And I think what people have to remember is what the profit is and what's actually in the bank are two very, very different things. We've got historic debts. We've got a running cost of the football club that is, it goes up and up every day outside of the football side of things as well. So, the board of directors have been very prudent. They've run the club very, very well, and there's no secret 1.8 million hiding below the floorboards. They give me every penny we have. If there's an extra £10,000 to put into the football budget, we do it. I'm very appreciative of the support that the directors give. As I said, with every penny we have available, after we've paid everything off, we put back into the football budget again. So that's what we can do. We'll look to develop the next players. We'll look to bring our next young player through, as we've done with David, Barry Maguire coming through, Adam Livingston coming through, James Scott in the background, and obviously the players like Christian and Bula that's come through as well, that, you know, can he be the next Cedric? We don't know. Well, we'll see. He started brightly, and we'll keep trying to work and develop him.
You mentioned those frustrations, which are more than understandable when you have to lose your best players, but it also shows the incredible work that goes on with yourself, the recruitment staff, and of course the young boys coming through like you mentioned, and that must be something that's very encouraging, continuing eyes looking at your players, I feel like.
Yeah, you got to scour the country for it, and we've got a staff that do that, you know, in our scouting network, and our own staff are out and about all the time, and, you know, no different than any other manager. We're all trying to do exactly the same, and we've been fortunate that the vast majority of people we've brought up, you know, Danny Johnson, a lot of people looked at Danny and they didn't touch him, and we've brought him up, and, you know, he's getting better and better, and he'll continue to do that. So it's a credit to the whole staff. You know, it's not just me. Obviously I take the blame when it doesn't go great, and the credit when it goes okay occasionally, but, you know, a big mention to all the staff. We work our socks off to make things work, and at this moment in time the model's working well, but we have to continue to do that.
Well, let's hope it goes into Saturday, Stephen. All the best for them.
Okay, cheers, Lewis.